Okay, so here we go. This is number 4 out of 6.3. And it says, in a survey of 2,486 adults in a recent year, 1,259, say they've made a New Year's resolution. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, y'all, we're going to find our p hat. Our p hat is just what percent of people made a resolution in this particular instance. So it's going to be x divided by my n. So my x in this case is my 1259, and my n is the 2486. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a decimal approximation for that. Let's go like this. Let's get out of this business. And let's see, what were numbers again? 1259, 2486. So 1259 divided by 2486. Okay, and I need to do a decimal. So on my app, y'all, I'm going to hit the math button right underneath alpha. I'm going to hit the math. I'm going to hit number 2 decimal. So I know it's telling me to go to 3 decimal places. I'm going to just write these with 4 values right now. So 0.5064. Okay, so my p hat is a 0.5064. Okay, so we're trying to find a 90% confidence interval for my population proportion. So what I have on the next slide, y'all, I just took this from my notes, so out of 6.3, and this is how we find our confidence interval for population proportions. It's going to be p hat minus my error and p hat plus my error. And this right here, y'all, is how we find that error. So first thing I want you to notice, we're going to find the z-score corresponding with our confidence level. So in this case, the first part, we're looking for a 90% confidence level. Remember what that means? That means that if I have my normal curve that looks something like this, right? And let's see, I'm going to have these 2 values here. One of them be negative, the other one be positive. But what this is telling me is that 90% of the area is going to be between these 2 values, right? So we're trying to figure out how much is going to be left over here and over here. So remember, the whole area is 100%. If we subtract 90%, we're left with 10% for each of those 2 areas. So if we divide that by 2, that's 5% for each area. So as a decimal, that's 0.05, and this one over here is 0.05. So the way I can find, say, this value is I can use my calculator. I can say, look, let's go with the inverse norm. And we know that the area to the left is 0.05. So I'm going to take my calculator. I'm going to go second vars. I'm going to go to inverse norm, 0.05. And the value I'm coming up with is 1.64. Negative, right? So I know that this one here is a negative 1.64. That just tells me that this one here, y'all, is going to be positive. Okay, so now here's my error formula. I'm going to write it on the previous page where we were working. So my error is 1.64, and then we got a big square root. Look at the 2 numbers we're going to, or the 3 numbers we're going to use. We're going to use p hat, q hat, and n. So we just found p hat to be 0.5064. And if you're wondering, how do I find q hat? It's always 1 minus p hat, right? So let's take my calculator here. Let's say, what's 1 minus 0.5064? 0.4936. So q hat is 0.4936. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix this little bit there. Okay, and 0.4936, all divided by my n, which in our case was 2486. We're going to do this calculation real quick. So let's grab our calculator. 1.64 times second square root of 0.5064 times 0.4936 divided by my n, I forgot what n was, 2486. 2486, and we're going to hit enter. And I know I'm going to be going to 4 or 3 decimal places. I think that's what the directions say, but right now I'm going to write everything with 4 decimal places. So 0.0614. Okay. So my error is 0.0, I think it's 164, isn't it? Yeah, 164. 0.0164. Okay, now that I found my error, look how we find the interval. We're going to take p hat minus the error and p hat plus the error. So my confidence interval is going to look like this. It's going to be 0.5064 minus 0.1 or 0.0, oops, that's not what I wanted, eraser, minus 0.0164 and 0.5064 plus 0.0164. Okay, so let's do these calculations on our calculator. 0.5064, so 5064 minus 0.0164, 0.49. Okay, so my first value here, y'all, I'm going to do some blue. So 0.49, that's just what we're getting. And then we're going to do the same thing except plus now. So we're going to go second entry, and I'm just going to change that minus right there to a plus. 0.5228. And since it's telling me to go to 3 decimal places, 0.523. Okay, so here we go. 0.49, 0.523. Let's check our answer. 0.49 and 0.523. And let's check it, and hey, we got it. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing for the next part, which is a 95% confidence interval. Okay, so let me take a screenshot of this. Here we go. Let's come back over here. Let's come back over here. And let's upload this screenshot. There we go. Okay, now we're going to do exactly the same thing we did before, y'all, for a 95% confidence interval. So I'm going to show you something. My p-hat is still the same number. It's still 0.5064. So my p-hat still 0.5064. My q-hat is still, what was q-hat? 0.4936. Okay, my n is still that 2000 and change, whatever it was, 2486. Okay, so when I do this now, I'm going to get my eraser real quick because I want to show you something here. So remember, my p-hat, my q-hat, my n are still the same. The only thing that's going to change now is my z-score, right? So remember when we did this part, we said, look, 90% was in the middle. Now, since we're doing this for a 95% confidence level, the middle part is now going to be 0.95, right? So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this here. What I'm going to do, y'all, I'm going to do this on my calculator with a 95% confidence interval. Okay, so what was my x to begin with? Oh, we knew our x. It was like 1259, okay? So look, I'm going to show you on my calculator how I can do this. So I'm going to go stat, I'm going to go to tests, and I'm going to go to the one proportion z interval test. This is choice A towards the bottom, A, B, C, D. I'm going to pick A. Okay, so my x bar was, or my x value, not my x bar, was at 1259. So let's go 1259 out of a 24 and something. I forgot, 2486. 2486. My confidence level, I want 95%, so it is 0.95. I want you to look, it's giving me p-hat. Hey, didn't we come up with 0.5064? That's what we got a little while ago. Since I am going to 3 decimal places, look, y'all, 0.487 and 0.526. 0.487 and 0.526, I believe is what it was. Let me double check. 0.526. Okay, so these are the values that I'm going to enter in right here, 0.487, 0.526. So right here, I'm going to type in 0.487 and 0.526. We're going to check our answer. Hey, we got it. Okay, so really what I was showing you, y'all, before I go on, was I showed you the 90% doing it by hand using the actual formulas. And then I showed you the second part using the calculator, and then you can decide, you know, which way is it better. So I want you to notice before I go on, in my second line of the problem where it says construct 90 and 90% confidence intervals for the population proportion, right? So when I come here, we're talking about the population proportion is going to be between the endpoints, and it's going to be in the middle, somewhere in the middle there, okay? So we're going to check our answer. Come on, check. There we go. And okay, now we want to know which interval is wider. So look, this is what I do. I'm going to clean up some of this mess because we don't particularly need it. And I'm going to draw a number line right here, okay? So look, I'm going to do this one in blue. So let's go 0.49 right here, 0.49. And right here, let's say that is 0.523. Now, I'm going to do these in red. 0.487. 0.487 is actually smaller than 0.49, and 0.526 is actually bigger. 0.526 is bigger than 0.523. So look, the first one we did here, this was the 90%, right? The one that we were doing here in red is the 95%, right? So which one would you say is wider? Well, hey, the red one is, right? The red one is wider. We can just see that by looking at the picture. So the 95% confidence interval is wider. So I'm going to say the 95% is wider. I'm going to check my answer, and we got it, okay? So if y'all got any questions, please let me know.